Hey, Brave Daily, welcome to our weekly live stream. So glad that you're here. Mike, David, we hope to have Richard with us. I just want to point out, Jason and I were joking about this week, that we're really a national, we have offices in Texas, California, Arkansas. Mike, where are you at?
Arkansas.
Oh, that's right. You're up like
Yeah.
Fayetteville. Yeah. So Arkansas, two offices in Arkansas and out in California. So we're all spread out. And so Richard, hopefully going to be here in a minute. He is a busy guy on Sunday afternoon. Glad y'all are here. Before we get to anything, Mike, do you have any dad jokes for Thanksgiving?
Oh, goodness gracious.
I put you on the spot. I didn't bring it up.
You had to do that.
Yeah.
Give me just a second and I'll get you some. Hold on just a second. I didn't know you were going to do that, man.
I know.
Right.
As you're thinking about that, David, what's your favorite thing that you eat for Thanksgiving?
I haven't thought about that in 20 years.
You're on the spot.
The sweet potato casserole.
Fair enough. That's a good.
So I don't know that I have any great Thanksgiving jokes, but I'll give you a couple of jokes.
Okay. All right.
So I haven't told you guys this, but I used to be a lumberjack. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So I used to be a lumberjack, and I know exactly the number of trees that I cut down. It's exactly 2,417 trees. Do you want to know how?
Yes.
I know because every time I cut one down, I took a log. Oh, that's so bad. You actually thought I was a lumberjack.
That kind of makes it good.
Don't worry, I'm about to start singing Monty Python on you.
Where's the?
No. You don't know about the lumberjack song?
Oh, I not nearly as much as you do, but
okay, YouTube it. I'm not going to sing it on this call.
It's so funny.
All right. Well, let's see. Someone just sent me a message that they can hear us but not see us. Well, nope, we're live. All right, Brave Daily. We are glad to be with you. We're talking Logos. We're here because all three of us, hopefully four soon, absolutely love Logos. It has changed our lives. And a couple housekeeping things. One is December 19th. We've got interactive workshops where Jason and we've got two different options. I think they're going to be they're 9:00 Central Time, but we're talking about sermon notes and how to use sermon notes and sermon preparation. $15 a person. Want to encourage you to get in on that. We're keeping those groups small, so we don't have a lot of space. But if you'd like to do that, go ahead and sign up, and you can do that at our website, Brave Daily. The three of us were coaches, and I think we're up to maybe 12 coaches total. I think it may be 11 or 12, but I just love our coaches. And if you need one-on-one help, you want to go any area in Logos and just say, hey, I want to use the software better. I've got an issue of whether it's Bible study, kind of family devotion, sermon prep, library management, note taking, how some of the tools work. It can be overwhelming. And so to have a coach just to sit down with your library, your resources, your copy, and take the time and the patience, it can be just a blessing. So check us out at bravedaily.com and you'll get there. And then finally, I am excited to announce that Brave Daily has had a podcast, but we are restarting that and should be this week. And we've got some author interviews lined up. And the first one that we're going to do, we're going to sit down with the executive director of Faith Life, Scott Lindsay. Very excited about that. And so more information is going to come out, but hopefully we're going to get that going this week. We're going to also record those videos and have them up so people can watch, but we're going to have a podcast with it. So that's kind of the housekeeping stuff that I've got. And during our time this evening, we're going to take just a little bit of time and talk about several different things, libraries, and how do you know you're supposed to buy books, especially with the sale that just happened and the legacy packages from Logos 8 that have come out. What do we do with those data sets? Just all sorts of things. So I think it's going to be a good time together. So Mike and David, we had this sale this weekend, and Logos sells so many books that it can be overwhelming when someone jumps in, or even I'm a long-time user and I want to be a good steward of my money. I don't want to be wasteful. And so what's your all's, like, Mike, let's start with you. What's your kind of buying guide? How would you tell someone to buy into Logos what's the advice?
Well, I'll tell you kind of how I got started, because I don't think any of us jump in like and buy the entire, Logos library in one full swoop. So I know when I started, I took a small kind of budget amount every month and decided, hey, this is what I'm going to allocate kind of as a monthly contribution to my spiritual development. And probably the most important, in my opinion, is the Logos Connect. It was called Logos Now, I think, when I first started. But if you can get your hands on Logos Connect, any update that comes out, like when Logos 9 came out, it was automatic. You didn't have to try to figure out which package to buy and what to get and what not to do. And of course, they have so much free content on there. I mean, they've got free digital books, every month. They've got free mobile ed courses. They've got, obviously you've got the free book of the month that I think most of us get anyways, but there's so much content. I would suggest, I think it's like $20 a month, and it's definitely going to be worth what it is that you pay for that. The other thing I would say is definitely buy in at a package level that is at least giving you all the features of Logos. And it's, if you do it on a monthly subscription, it's not more than $40 a month. It's like $40-$50 a month, if that. And the way I always looked at it is that's my spiritual investment. That's the way, just like we pay tithe, just like we invest into other things, we spend a whole lot more than that on our vehicles and on our mortgage payment. So I think we can probably invest in our spiritual relationship with Christ, so that's my thoughts anyway.
That's awesome. I'm a Connect member too. And so is David. And David, you are passionate about books, maybe more. And I don't know everybody's philosophy on book buying, but I know you talk about buying books maybe more than everyone. So like, what's your strategy when you're getting books? Is it to hoard as many as you can with the hope that Jesus lets you take them when you die? What's the strategy?
Well, so yes, but no. There's actually a Japanese word for that, sundonku. It's the practice of buying books and collecting them in stacks without reading them.
Yes.
But I absolutely second Connect. Faith Life Connect is a true game changer. It gives you the three. If you do, it's $25 a month for the premier package. There's also there is actually a Biblia subscription for like $3 a month, and then there's Connect Basic, which is like $9 a month, and then there's $15, and there's $25 a month. Absolutely worth it. On the premier, you do get the 20% discount off Logos 9 packages. You get the 3 free books per month. You get other discounts. Every year, you get a 2% rebate back in February off of how much you spent the year before. So it's kind of like getting a second tax refund. So I absolutely Connect. The other thing is get all the free books each month. There are at least 3 free books every month. There's the Faith Life Logos Verbum free books. There's also the Spanish free book per month. Then all 4 of them have other books on discounts. And the reason why I say that is if you can get, a couple extra commentaries that are, $40 commentaries for $2, I guarantee you that's going to filter down to the packages. There's been very few times that I have seen the books of the month be like truly independent books that are not part of larger packages. Say is plan ahead. Don't wait for the sale to determine what you want and what you need.
Right.
Start going through, figure out what resources you want, figure out what areas you need to study, identify those resources, and then start looking through what packages they're in. Because like I looked, one of my larger purchases recently, several months ago, there was a encyclopedia of ancient Christianity that was like $300. But it was in like 4 other packages that I was all looking at that were all a whole lot cheaper. And so I looked through the dynamic pricing, I worked it out. So you can save a ton of money by doing that and get, 20, 30 times as many resources than just getting the, I need this book. So that would be my main thing. Connect the free books every month, because those will build up your library quickly and drop the cost of other packages, and then plan ahead so that when the sales come up, you already know this is the package I'm looking for. This is the bundle I'm looking for. It'll help you determine whether that deal's really best for you and what you need, or if it is just the opportunity to hoard books, which I'm not against, just to be clear. But
Well, that's awesome. And little known fact now, David is our in-house Japanese culture expert. So that's exciting to look forward to with all that. Richard, you have been a Logos user for a long time. I think maybe the longest, I think since Logos 4. Is that right?
Yeah, right around 3-4. That's
Yeah.
right around where I jumped in when they went to the Mac platform. That's when I made the jump. So
Yeah.
I've been, over the past 10 years, I've been building my library slowly but surely. So
what's like two things that come to mind as I know you? One, what's your strategy to do that? Because it can be overwhelming. And then also, you're in seminary. Can you briefly speak into the seminary discount, the academic discount, for someone who might need that and don't know they need it?
Right. Okay. So if you're in seminary, the first thing you want to do is go at the very bottom, and you want to check out where it says academic, and you want to check to see if your school is enrolled in the academic program. And if not, you need to find out who is in charge of that and see if they can get involved with it. Because usually when you have an academic discount, that's basically like 20-30% depending off of like libraries, off of certain resources, and it's in a lifesaver. You know, we have a where I'm at, we have a Bible college, so I'm part of the faculty there as well. And you know, I'm able to get like faculty discount and stuff like that. And it's just it makes these big purchases really available, especially when it comes to like, you know, if you don't want to wait for sales or whatever the case is, it's definitely worth it. I would say it's the first thing you want to do. Is check out your academic discount, because then you see things like how, you know, the library is 15% off. Well, sometimes, you know, as an academic discount, you just get that all the time or more. So it's just a game changer. And, you know, I know usually when you're in school, money is a premium. So anything you can do to save it would be good, you know? So that's always been a really big deal for me, and just being able to milk that for all it's worth, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing. And then like what David's saying too, I would say definitely leveraging your libraries. Well, every time they release a new version, you know, they always change the library setups. So then like for this Black Friday sale, they released the legacy libraries. I know, like the silver, bronze, gold, all that kind of stuff. So if, you know, any of you guys were hoping to get in, maybe you were waiting, and then all of a sudden you waited for 9 and you realized, oh, you know, the library I wanted didn't have the resource I was looking in 8. Well, then take a look at the resource libraries, the legacy ones, because they have all the libraries from the previous version available. And chances are, like if you bought Silver 9, you probably have a huge dynamic discount for your other libraries, whether it's Bronze and everything. And even like, I know David's talked about this before too, where you just, if you got Silver or Gold, just go through the different traditions and start swooping up the starters. Because you can get that stuff for like 10, 15, 20, 30 bucks. And you can end up getting like a $200 set of books, like on like a 90% discount using dynamic. So those are always really good ways to go.
Yep.
And then I think speaking of the Black Friday sale, they have the Gordon Fee set. They have a Gordon Fee library, and there's some solid you know, New International commentaries that he's written in there. So if anybody's looking to jump in, I'd say Gordon Fee is always a winner with me.
Man, that's solid. Yeah. So it can be overwhelming, especially when you look at the price and some of those higher packages. I think we would all say you could use the counseling guide and look at debt and don't go into debt for Logos. There are payment plans, but like I want my strategy is to have a well-rounded library, not necessarily just for books of my theological bent. I want to kind of get a picture of how the broad body of Christ thinks about things, both now, current stuff, the current research that's happening is amazing, but also in church history. I want all that thing. So I'm completely good with the packages that may not line up with my personal theological bent, but it helps me just with a broader view of how the body of Christ understands Scripture. So we're going to, before we leave, I want us all to share kind of maybe a resource or two that we've been using, but let's do that before we come, and let's dig into some Logos usage type situations. One thing that happened this week in the forums, the tips and tricks group on Facebook, that I thought was an amazing question was someone had noticed repeating words, especially in particular repeating names. So like Martha, Martha, Simon, Simon, and they're wondering, how do I bring that up all the time? Great question. I love questions like that. And Richard, you were able to kind of help us. You got with the coaches, but like you were the one that kind of figured that out. What was your process? Can you explain like what that is? We're going to call it a data set, but like what data sets are, the information in Logos, just all that stuff. How do those work? How do data sets help users use Logos better?
Yeah, so the data sets are basically the way that all the logos, big wigs and all the guys from Faith Life, they're scholars, they got together and they compiled all the data from some of the real, big works that do things like categorizing, like all the miracles in the Bible or all the mentions of Jesus, whether it's pronoun or the word name Jesus or the Lord. And these are all, ways of categorizing people, events, who's speaking, and are they a recipient of a miracle? Are they the agent of doing a thing with another thing, and how it all goes. And all this data gets compiled together, and it makes it easier for us, if we know how to access it, to do the things we want it to do. So like in Facebook, somebody like Ryland was saying, somebody was asking, where can I find all these duplicates of names in the book of Luke? And it's kind of a weird question, because you think, okay, those are two nouns. I can search for Simon, but it'll bring up every Simon. So what is that? So, talking with the guys, I thought to myself, okay, this sounds like a figure of speech. It sounds like something that somebody somewhere has a really fancy word that they say, this is a thing, where they do the thing. Oftentimes in the Bible, some of the conversation was, when you say the same word twice, it's an emphasis, or it's like an attention getter. So, looking at it, I went, and Ryland, if you wanted to share my screen, I went and took a look at the scripture they were talking about, and here in Luke 22:31, Jesus foretells Peter's denial. So I went ahead and I went ahead and highlighted the verse. And then I did a right click, and then this right click brings up your right click menu. And in here is basically all of the back end data that we can see that's attached to this. And these are all parts of the data set. You see the little flags here, Jesus in Jerusalem, an event, an event, an event, an event. This is part of the data set that says these are all the biblical events that are attached to this scripture. Goes down here with preaching themes. These are all different preaching themes that this scripture is attached to. And eventually down here, there's figures of speech. And I saw description, duplication. And I thought to myself, oh, this is exactly what we're looking for. If you were to expand it right here, you'd see that there's several different figures of speech or different types of labels attached to this. 2 for 1, there's some intertextual stuff going on here, as well as a genre, a narrative story going on right here. So I saw, okay, we have a figure of speech. So if I click on this and highlight it, over here on the right end of this right click menu, I have a bunch of things I can do. I can copy the reference, or I can do a search. So I highlighted my figure of speech here, duplication, and now I'm accessing this data set that has all of these figures of speech. And I clicked in a search, because you wanted to know, how do I find all these? Now I did this. I have 536 results, and I didn't have to know what the fancy name or the word is. Right over here, you can see it's a label, figure of speech, where the description is this: a duplication as an epizeuxis. And I have no idea if I'm saying that right.
No one else does either.
Right? And that's what I think, is nobody can tell me I'm wrong. So the epizeuxis is basically what we're talking about, Simon, Simon, or it's the redundancy of two words. So this ran this complex search string, accessing all of the data sets that have been tagged within the whole of the scripture. So I have from Genesis to Revelation. Now, the guy wanted to know just where it was inside of Luke. So all Bible text, I wanted to go ahead and hunt it down to just the book of Luke. And here we go. Now it's located down between Luke 1 and Luke 23. All these different times we have different times. There's different uses of the name: Lord, Lord, Martha, Martha, Master, Master, crucify, crucify him, Simon, Simon. So we see all of these different moments here. Someone else had also asked too, well, why is Luke 1, 32 and 33? Those don't seem like it. So this data set is all attached to Bullinger's figure of speech. That's where they mined all this data from the data set. If you look at the documentation in the library, you can find out for every data set where it is. And we located that, found the scripture. You could look it up on the Facebook, and it describes why this looks like a false positive, even though it's really not. And that's how you can begin to figure out how to use your data sets. All you gotta do is find a verse, and go ahead and highlight it, right click, and then you can begin to see what else is going on. We have a theological topic, intertext, narrative. If you want to find all the narratives within the gospel, which is basically the entirety of the gospels, you can begin to see what it is. If there's certain different intertextual things going on, if you have different things attached to objects, like whether it's a wine press or different locations like Babylon, you can begin to look through that all by accessing the data sets on your right-click menu. And that's how we found out what where all the epizeuxes are in the book of Luke.
That's absolutely awesome. And if someone is wanting to use to read the data sets that they have in their library, the type of literature that it is in your library, it's going to show up as a manual. I don't know if you can search data set or not, but I think it's going to be but it's definitely a manual is the type. And you can, like Richard said, you can read through those manuals and get all the information about that data set. But those data sets work within Logos naturally for you. You don't have to do anything. And so it would be good. Another thing that we ran into. So Richard, that was awesome. I got so excited when I saw that this week. It got me re-engaged kind of in that right-click menu of going through all the different options of what's there, especially the grammar stuff. It is.
There's gold. There's gold to be found on that right-click menu, man.
Yeah, there is. It's awesome. And so that was something that I was just really encouraged this week to talk about, to have, someone ask that kind of question. And then another question that we got is about Old Testament usage of the Old Testament. We hear a lot, how is the New Testament used in the Old Testament? But how did Old Testament authors interact with one another, which I'd never really considered. I thought it was an interesting question. And so Mike and David, you kind of worked on how that worked. And Mike, you kind of came with the workaround of, I think, a 400-step process. So no, share with us, like, if someone's wanting to think about visual filters of the Old Testament and the Old Testament, what do we do with that?
Well, I can say that unfortunately right now the Logos software doesn't have the nice, easy, tool like the intertext tool that we got in Logos 9, which is awesome, which shows how the Old Testament is used in the New Testament. So I have a feeling they'll probably eventually create a nice tool that does this for us. I know that I think that you posted, I believe, in the Facebook channel as well as the Slack channel, one of the documents or the books inside of the library that's coming out. It's in Prehub, that does some of this research. So I'll explain the thought process. Again, this was a little bit of a it almost stumped me, and I wasn't even sure when I did what I did that it was doing what the individual was asking. But the thought process is this. One tip that I learned from good old Morris Proctor, I got to give some shouts to him, is the ability to search footnotes, which is an awesome little tip. Okay. So if you open up a search, and I've already got one already done. Okay. So I'm going to cheat just a little bit, but if you open up a search, you'll see one of the search features that you can use, and it's a long search feature, but if you type footnote : and then we've got this, you got parentheses, and you put whatever you want to search inside the footnote. It basically looks at that metadata and it tries to find what it is that you're particularly searching for. So what I did in this case is I put all of the books up here of the Old Testament, and I did the abbreviations. Okay. So that's a lot. I'm happy to share what the string is, but it's searching. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say you might be able to shorten that with just a GEN-MAL.
See, look at that. I mean, he's already trying to take my 400 steps down. I mean, like, come on.
No, that'll make it easier for them to read on the screen.
So we can try that. Shall we do it?
Yeah, let me, because that's what I use in my other.
All right. So you think that this is going to do it? I hope you're right.
-MAL. That should, because I use it in my other visual filters. I do mat-rev.
Oh, it doesn't.
Uh-oh.
Fail.
Done.
What's that?
Control Z will undo what you typed in there.
I want to watch you type it all back in.
Fortunately, I saved this search up here.
Well,
so.
okay. No, now I'm going to have to figure out why that's the case, because I use it in my other visual filters. It works in other sections of Logos. So, okay, sorry to interrupt.
No worries. No, this is good. This is
gonna-
coaches learning from coaches. I love it. So the thought process is I want to search all of the footnotes. Okay. In the Old Testament, you'll notice in the very top, this is a basic search. You don't want to do this in a Bible search. You want to do it in a basic search. You put your items in the search, that location there, and then you make sure that you're searching all text in the Old Testament for whatever Bible. Okay. And once you hit search, you'll see that there's a ton of results. Okay. It's looking for every single footnote. Okay. This is just step one. Okay. And I'm not going to, I'm going to show you the other steps, but I'm going to probably suggest that you go into a coaching session to find out the details of it, because it's pretty complicated. Okay. So the next step, you're going to have to actually create a highlight palette. Okay. You'll see I've already done that. Again, I'm not going to explain how to do that, but I created a highlighting palette that uses the intertext items. So it uses allusion, citation, echo, and quotation, which are the 4 types of relationships that you can have. Okay. The next step is you got to make a visual filter. So I've already made a visual filter, but I'm going to show where those visual filters are located. Okay. If you go to, let's see, I've already got one right here. I'm going to open that one up for you guys. And so you'll see that I have basically set up a search. It's label intertext. And I got this, I believe, from David. I think you posted this. This is some syntax stuff. I'm not the king of syntax at all. I just steal from other people. Okay. So label, label intertext where corpus, and then you want to look where the Old Testament and the relationship, and I'll keep moving over here, the relationship, and I do one for each one, citation, and then you do one for quotation. On the next one, you do one for allusion, and you do one for echo, okay? And then you connect the search with the highlighting palette. That's where this comes in handy right here. This connects to this side over here, okay? Once you get done with that, provided you did it right, this is the fun part, okay? And it blew up my Logos the first time I did it, so we'll see, okay? You need to send your search results to an inline search, okay? So up in the upper right-hand corner, we've got the little 3 dots right here, okay? We'll do send search, send to inline search, which is basically means it's going to open up a new Bible search, and it's only going to have the footnotes that I searched, okay? Then you turn your visual filter on. Okay, so maybe it's less than 400. Okay, all right.
I went to Bible college. Math is hard.
Old Testament and Old Testament. Now you've got all of the reason why I did it this way is because some of these footnotes are not actually intertext. Okay, they're just cross references, right? And so these, and you have to go through, and they're pretty accurate. Okay, you'd have to check them, but like Malachi 3:18, for example. So you will again distinguish between the righteous and the wicked. This footnote right here, okay, is Genesis 18. You'll see it's being used. You have to kind of look and see if that's accurate, but these should be intertextual items. These should be either allusions, quotations, or echoes that are used in the Old Testament, and they're found inside the footnotes. That was a lot.
That's good, though.
It was fun. It was fun.
That's an awesome. And so I think this is one of those things where it proves that Logos is for someone who wants to kind of get in the weeds. That may not be the average user, and that's completely okay. We've got people who use it for like daily devotional type stuff, and they like to do some highlighting. But there's also capacities that are just outstanding if someone wants to go deeper. But I would encourage everybody, like, go at your own pace. If you're not doing that sort of thing, that doesn't mean you're not using the software. Same thing with Richard's thing about the repetitive words. Like, that's okay. It has the capability for those who want to go more. And so we had a question come in, and David, I think you would be really helpful to understand this. That the question is it possible to create a custom guide that has components from more than one guide? For example, a custom topic guide that also has components from the sermon starter guide. So like someone's wanting to do a custom guide. David, how do we get them there? Coaching on the spot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and share my screen real quick. So while I'm sharing that, Richard went away. I went on ahead and made a visual filter for the Epic Zeuxis, and I shared it to the Brave Daily Facebook or Faith Life group.
Awesome.
So if you're following Brave Daily on Faith Life in that group, now in your docs, in groups, and let me get rid of the intertext thing. Once it loads. Where is... Okay, it's not showing up right now, but I made it and it shows up in Epic Zeuxis above it. So actually, I didn't know this. Not only is there Simon in Luke 22:31, apparently demanded to have you or something in there is also in Epic Zeuxis. So now I need to go through and look at the Greek on that. Anyways, guides. So yes and no, because of the way guides work. Let me pull up Passage Guide. What makes each guide is that they have different tools set up. But it's the tools themselves that are individual. They're not, to my understanding, they're not native to the guide. And so I'm trying to get the Passage Guide loaded right now to show it. Actually, let me just pull up the example. So it has your content, it has commentaries, it has journals, parallel passages. These are all different features of the guide system. And so when you make a guide, you have all of those on the side. And you can pick if you want to add media resources or if you want to add Faith Life sermons. So you can arrange them however you want. You can add them, you can remove them, you can arrange them. This is, I think I've actually edited my passage guide because you can do the add and you can add anything you want in here. And you, I think you can even move them up and down. You can move them around. So you can customize it however you want. But I would say don't look at it as you're taking something from this other guide and putting it in here. Just look at it from, okay, what do I want to study? Like, how do I want to use this? And then what pieces do I need for that? And then you have a whole lot of ingredients here to make a pie of whatever flavor you want.
Mm-hmm. And yeah. So really go through there. I use a custom guide each week. That's how I do sermon prep. And I go through, and one of the things I added are my collections. And so I've got specific collections based on authors that I want to see what they said every week. So so it's really one of those things of, and I appreciate the question. Is it Sims? I want to get his name right, that Sims Jones asked, of kind of adding questions is, create a guide just like David showed, and then go through the sections on the right-hand side and add those options that you want to your guide. And you will eventually come up with something that is suitable for what you want to do. And so I've got a couple guides. I've got a preaching guide. I've also got just a general Bible study guide that I don't want to go through all the sections. And so that's very helpful, Sims. And if you'd like more help, any of us would be happy to do it. So, well, we've been talking about Logos for a long time. Let me pull us all up on the screen. We have got some exciting giveaway stuff that we're talking about. Mike, what are we giving away tonight?
What did Jason say? We're giving away some like Logos credit, and we're giving away maybe a spot to the workshop. I think that's what he said.
What?
At this point, he's not here. We could say anything we want.
We could say
give it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Jason, no, I don't want to say something and it be someone take me seriously when we actually can't give that away. So we're giving away $20 in Logos cash, and we are also giving away a free entry into the workshop on the December 19th. But I'm going to go, Jason didn't mention this. I'm going to go ahead and speak for Jason, which I'll hardly ever do, and say, if you can't make the 19th, let's make it for any upcoming workshop that we do. And we're going to have workshops throughout the year. So don't want to pigeonhole you. Would love to be in the 19th, but want you to be excited if you do win this. So let me pull up your screen, Mike. I'm so excited about this tool. So everybody, this is everybody's name that filled out Brave Daily /win, right? What was it?
We've got 30 entries. So And I just have to say that I have to say this because I've fallen in love with the dark mode.
Yes.
I just want you guys to notice that this is also in dark mode.
Yes.
So, I mean, apparently, and it's Christmas.
I love it.
I love it. So your name should be on here. If you get picked, definitely need to reach out to Jason, or do you want him to reach out to you, Rylan? Who should we?
Yeah,
have?
reach. In fact, I will. If I've got this stuff, I'm going to find out who wins. I'm going to take their name and I will reach out to them.
Perfect. All right. So what are we giving away first, man? What's the first item?
Let's do the workshop.
The workshop, going for the big spin. All
Yes.
right, here we go. Anyone want to like blow on their hand? Don't you like blow on your hands or something, or do you
Yes.
know like something? Okay,
Daddy
here we go.
needs some new shoes.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Here we go. Ooh, ooh.
Big winner, Neil Hawkins.
Yes.
Woo! Yes. Yes. I love that.
Man, that's good. All right, are we doing? Go ahead.
No, is this what casting in lots was like? Like
Thi-
they got their computers out.
This is
when-
actually a biblical version of it.
This
yes.
is a biblical version, and it was in dark mode when they chose the new apostle. That's it. And I found that information through the fact book.
Do we get the dark mode from like the blood spilled in the field? It was very dark.
It was very dark, and it was actually a theme within the book of John is light and day, or light and night, dark and light, and so dark. John was really into dark mode too.
Apparently, I've gone to the dark side.
Boom! I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Are we giving away another one?
We are. I want to point out, though, that our fearless leader, Jason, his name has made it onto the list. He's doing something more important than this right now, and we love him very much, but his name is on the list. I'll just
He told me it was on the list because apparently he'd been naughty this year, and so he had been taken off the Santa list.
Right.
And so he figured he'd throw himself into his own list, and hopefully give himself a gift. What are we giving away now, man?
$20 Logos cash. We're gonna put
that's perfect.
It's amazing.
I mean,
put $20 in your account.
If you used that $20 for the free book of the month with all of the added, like I think you can get 6 or 8 other books, and it ends up being like, I don't know, $25 or something like that.
Yep.
You practically get it for free.
That's awesome. That's a great idea.
Guys, do you want to like bet on this? Do you want to throw in some like, who do you think is gonna? No, we probably shouldn't.
I want to add gambling to whatever we do. That's great.
We can find any details in the counseling guide on how to do it. All right, here we go for $20.
All right, here we go.
Oh, so who's it gonna? Jerry
Medlock.
Yes. Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice.
That's I love that. I love that we need to use that all the time because I love that it gets excited and there's an audience that claps.
Yeah. So actually, Paula, I think Rebello asked how to add their name. So you can actually go and add your name for the next time as well. You're welcome to do that. I think the link is it bravedaily.com/win? Is that right?
It is. Yes, bravedaily.com/win.
Perfect, man. Love it.
And yeah, we're going to try and do more of those. We are going to try and be doing live streams almost, I think, every week. Sunday afternoon is kind of what we're settling on. So I'm excited about that. But it's recorded. We know a lot of people watch them the following week. So if you don't watch it Sunday afternoon, it's going to be up. All right. So we said at the beginning talking about books. First, let me just say, Neil, Jerry, congratulations. I'm going to reach out to you and get you all your stuff, and it'll be fantastic. Absolutely awesome. Thanks for putting your name in. All right. So, David, Mike, what resources have you all been using? I know that's a question all the time. People are wanting to know about resources. David, what's something that's you've been using that's got you excited?
So, unfortunately, I haven't been using it yet, but I'm excited to use them. And there's actually 3 different versions of these. There's the Zondervan Counterpoint series, the Perspective series, and the Spectrum Multiview series. And those 3 series of books are each book takes a particular topic, and then it presents between 2 to 5 perspectives on that topic. So it presents it's an author for advocating for each perspective on that topic. And then they engage with each other. They do rebuttals to each other. They present their case on how they view that. So that's one that I consider like any of those three. Like I said, the perspectives, the spectrum multi-view, or the counterpoint specifically, are, I mean, like you said earlier, Ryland, about getting not just your tradition, but getting the a broader picture. Each one of those resources does a broad picture. For instance, they have Exploring the Worship Spectrum, and they have a couple different perspectives on that one. They have 5 views on apologetics, and then that one is, I'm an apologetics guy, so they've got William Lane Craig, Gary Habermas, Feinberg, Frame, and Clark that all advocate each for their own views on apologetics, and then they interact with each other on their views on apologetics. Got 5 views on law and gospel, 5 views on sanctification, 4 views on eternal security. So this is I consider it invaluable as part of your spiritual growth, to get that broader perspective, to get that broader approach to these different doctrines, these different ideas, and in a cost-effective way. Instead of buying 5 or 6 different books on each different subject from 5 or 6 different authors, you buy one book on that one subject, and you get 5 or 6 different authors right there.
That's awesome. And we're going to put all these links in the description or in the comments. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to put every resource that we're mentioning. We're going to be put an affiliate link to. Mike, what resources have you been using that had just kind of got you excited?
Well, I will say, if you wouldn't mind putting my my screen up, I'll share something with everyone. So probably the one item from a commentary standpoint that I use the most is this United Bible Society handbook.
Those are great.
Fabulous as it comes to, it's what I would call a language commentary, because it really drills down into the words and how certain translators use those words, which is really interesting. I'm pretty fascinated with the different translations and how things get translated, because things can get lost in translation. Of course, I'm not a Greek or Hebrew scholar, so I've got to rely on some of this research and some of the people that have done the heavy lifting. Obviously, I think that before we got on the air, we were talking about the Lexham research commentaries. Fabulous set. They're awesome. Okay. The ones that I've got a wish list. You guys are going to laugh because I'm never going to get this list. I know I'm not. Okay.
Yep.
But if you look at the Baker Ultimate, it's kind of comical and it's almost embarrassing when you look at it, because I think the Baker Ultimate is only like 1,300 books, and I think it's like $23,000. It's stupid. All right. Clearly, they don't want to sell them. Okay. So, but I do have, I purchased in the last couple of months a couple of the Baker Illustrated, and they're fabulous for like behind the scenes background, getting the cultural perspective. And again, I could go on and on and on, but these are some that I've got prioritized. If you're looking for a fun read, I will say this. And again, I'm throwing these out here. I don't know that you're going to have a link for all these, but I'm just throwing them out. I've been reading through these 2 books right here that are awesome. Okay. I read this first one. I've read it twice. It's the Misreading Scripture with Western Eyes. He came out with a new one that talks about the individualistic eyes and the community eyes, which is a lot of the original ancient culture was a communal culture, which in the United States, we have no clue what that is. It's not even close to what we think of. So that has been a fun little read. Not something that you use from a research standpoint, but it's been a fun one to read through and kind of contemplate on. So
that's awesome.
I second both of those.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So I'm going to recommend the...
Yeah, you like that Ultimate collection?
I just want to, so this is my recommendation for everyone. Is the Baker Ultimate collection for the low price of $25,000. You can buy a late model, what late model F-150? What can you buy for 25,000?
You might be able to get a lower. I think you can get a lower series Tesla actually.
You can get a lower. Those are the
know what
only
else
two
you can
options.
get? No, you know what else you can get for 25,000?
What?
Logos 9 Ultimate.
It's expensive. So there's options. No, so the three things that have gotten me excited. One is the Lexham Research Commentary, and these come in Connect, don't they, David? Like you get to have these even if you don't own them.
So. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I don't own them, but I have access to all of them, and I'm 99% sure if you connect.
I love these, and you know, Mike brought them up too. The reason I love these commentaries is they open up your other resources. So it gives you, it's like the context of Scripture, but it's not really a theological bent as much as it is getting you to understand kind of the positions of some major players within that book. So very helpful. Two other books I'm reading right now that I would recommend. One is this one called The Beauty of Preaching by Dr. Pasquarello, which I hope I pronounced correctly. And I've been reading this one because he's going to be one of our guests on an upcoming podcast interview. And it's a good book because he's making the case that the point of preaching is not application so much as it is about beauty, in particular, the beauty of God and the beauty of Christ. So really interesting, kind of heady. It's a well-written, he draws from Luke and Augustine or Augustine, depending on what part of the world you're in. And then the other one is this one I'm going through right now, Preaching Hope in Darkness by Dr. Gibson and Dr. Mason. And both just a fantastic read. And the reason I'm reading this one is they're going to be guests on an upcoming podcast for us. So I'm getting ready for those. But I'm only asking people to interview that I'm interested in their work. So I've bought both of these books and they're fantastic. I love this one because we don't often talk about this issue of suicide, and not only do they talk about it from a pastoral and a clinical side. Dr. Mason is I think a suicide. She's a psychologist, I think, that deals with suicide prevention. They give you test studies, they give you biblical information, they give you sermon resources. So just a fantastic resource that I'm glad that I have in my library. So, but then definitely the Baker Ultimate collection is probably at the top of the list.
You should probably buy that one before you buy a car.
Right. And
Ryland, you just reminded me of a resource that I actually do want to recommend. If you can pull your screen back up real quick, since you're already there.
Yes.
If you can switch over to ebooks.faithlife.com.
Yeah.
And then do understanding and loving a person with.
Can you say that one more time?
Understanding and loving a person with.
This one here?
No, look at the whole series.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
That's very helpful.
That narcissism one would be very helpful for a few people I know.
Stephen Arterburn. Arterburn did the Every Man's Battle series.
Sorry,
man.
Yeah.
Do you two need to hit the power button and turn yourselves off and back on again?
No, I'm good. All right. So,
okay.
Yeah. Why do you like this series?
Okay. So Stephen Arterburn is from the Every Man's Battle series. Yeah. So he coordinated this series, but if you notice, each of them is actually written by a different person. And so this is another series that I haven't actually read yet. I'm working on reading through. But just seeing the different subjects he talks about, that it's a coordinated series, but it's all authored by individuals that are experts in those areas. That's a part of my priority series that I'll get to when I finish any of my started and unfinished books already.
Because you've got a lot of reading lists, don't you?
My homepage has I've checked. I have 400 plus reading plans in Logos. Some of them are finished, most of them are not.
Yeah, every time I see your screen, your homepage, it just is a constant catch up. Giant catch up button.
I've been getting better, but I'm not there.
Not there. Well, guys, this was fun. We hopefully will do this again next week. And Lord willing, Jason will be back. Richard will be back. It's just so much fun. In the meantime, Brave Daily, if you've got any questions, comments, keep posting them to the Tips and Tricks group or reach out to us. I know we've got people watching on YouTube and Twitter, and that's completely fine. We're trying to be in all places. We're also on Reddit. So if you're looking for another community outside of Facebook, even though that is our kind of biggest audience, we're there. We're also on Slack, which I think is a cool way to communicate. So if go to our website, bravedaily.com, scroll down, look for all the different platforms that we're in and get connected. I'm sure there's one that you can get plugged into, but don't hesitate to reach out. Before we go, Mike, David, anything else we need to talk about or say?
I was just gonna add, if you go back to the question about creating kind of custom guides, and we can do this maybe next week or in a couple of weeks, but one thing that I have found really helpful is to add in different collections so that you can filter through specific sets or sections inside your library. Because one of the things that I find really challenging is you can get thousands of books and not even use a lot of them because all you're using is, a couple dozen of them, right? And so one of the things that I'm really passionate about is how do I find those books that are like in the corner of my library that don't ever come up, that I would never normally go to. I don't even know what they are. And you do that a lot of times by having a custom guide that actually utilizes certain sections of your library. And you do that with collections, and we can cover that another time. Again, that would be something that if you want to meet with one of us as a coach, we can help you set some of that stuff up. The other thing I want to say is I'm excited that we're international.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I did.
I mean, I want to give a big shout out to Paola. Like, I am super stoked that he's watching from the Middle East, man. That is awesome.
It's crazy. No, it is awesome. Like it's amazing. So let's talk about custom guides next time, because that is a fantastic feature, breaking down your library to make it manageable when you do have a overwhelming large library, which is a blessing from God. I talked to a pastor this week who is just so expensive they don't have the money for resources where they're at, and so it definitely a humbling experience to broaden my worldview and say how blessed we are to have the resources we do and don't want to waste it. So come back. We'll put out another thing this week about what time for sure that we're going to be in, but just appreciate everybody at Brave Daily. And until next time, God bless.